What's good, y'all? So I'm not going to lie to you guys. When I was looking at the Eastern Conference before the season started, I was trying to figure out where I had each team, what my expectations were for them. And when I looked at this Philadelphia 76ers team, I was pretty down on them. I had them missing the play-in tournament completely, being one of the bottom teams in the East yet again like they were last year. Just when you look at the question marks around Joel Embiid and Paul George, I just thought they might look to do a mini reset, mini retooling / youth movement, whatever it really was. Obviously they won the lottery, got the 3rd overall pick, so that is bringing in another young guy. I just thought they might pivot slightly towards that and be bottom feeders yet again. But boy, I was very wrong, because right now they are sitting at the 4th seed in the Eastern Conference. They have a record of 16-11, and Joel Embiid has only played in 11 games, so you can see they're still thriving even without their star big man. And it's not just that the Sixers are thriving, more specifically, their youth is thriving. Their young players are playing incredibly well, and it makes you kind of think, like, is the process over? Is it time to flip the page? And of course, we're going to talk about that throughout the course of this video. And just to be clear, when I say is the process over, that does not mean I think the Philadelphia 76ers should trade Joel Embiid or whatever it is. Honestly, with his contract and his injury history, I don't know if they would be able to trade him. I don't think they should, though. That's not what I'm saying. The last few seasons, the Sixers have prioritized Joel Embiid, and obviously that is the correct choice. When you have an MVP caliber player, when you have your best player, you prioritize them and build around them. All I'm saying is it time to maybe pivot from Joel Embiid being their guy and maybe move on to their other guy, Tyrese Maxey? So far this season, I really think that Tyrese Maxey has taken a leap. I'm not quite ready to call him a superstar just yet, but he definitely is walking up those steps, close to knocking on that door of superstardom. On the year, he's averaging 32 points per game, 5 rebounds, 7 assists, while shooting 47% from the field and 40% from 3. He really has turned into one of the best scorers and honestly one of the best offensive players in the entire NBA. He's top 5 in scoring, top 10 in assists. When it comes to getting the ball in the basket, Tyrese Maxey is one of the best at it. And what makes him so special is he is incredibly good on the ball and off the ball. And I think that's because he has really simplified his game a lot, where it's basically, all right, I'm going to shoot this 3, or, all right, I'm going to get to the rim. It's really one or the other for Tyrese Maxey, and he is incredibly efficient at getting both of those shots up. When you look at his three-point shooting, over half of his attempts come from catch-and-shoot opportunities. That just allows him to get into rhythm and get those easy shots. He's shooting 49% on those catch-and-shoot threes. When the ball is in his hands, he also is one of the more prolific off-the-dribble three-point shooters in the league. Basically, he's going to hit that side step or that step-back 3, cash it in your face, or if you play too far up, he has the incredible quickness to just get right around you and get to the rim, get to his floater, his scoop shot. He's a really acrobatic finisher sometimes. And even if he's not converting in the paint, he is really good at just getting those paint touches, getting downhill, forcing the defense to then shift and help over, and then that unlocks pretty much everything else in the offense, because I mentioned before, he is one of the top assisters in the game as well, so he is good at making that pass, kicking out to the corner for that open opportunity, or of course the Sixers can swing the ball and just keep the ball movement going to get a good shot. And it all starts from Tyrese Maxey as the ball handler and the creator. And while I do think there is a serious argument that Tyrese Maxey is the Sixers' best player and that they should prioritize him, I didn't just make this whole video saying, yeah, they should move on from Joel Embiid and promote Tyrese Maxey. Like, that's not my whole basis of this. The Sixers have a bunch of other young players that are seriously contributing to these wins, and it's making me think, like, we don't have to go to the sequel of the book, but we're definitely going to turn a few pages, go to the next chapter. The rookie VJ Edgecombe is one of the more important youthful contributors, I would say, behind Tyrese Maxey. I did not expect him to be this good coming into the NBA. He was the 3rd overall pick, so obviously he has a lot of talent, a lot of hype. I just thought it would take a little bit more time for him to look this comfortable. On the season, he's averaging 16, 6, and 4 on some pretty solid efficiencies, especially shooting the 3 ball. He's shooting 38% from 3 on the season, which again, I was not expecting this early in his career. And of course, he started off really, really strong, giving us one of the best debut performances we've ever seen, scoring 34 points against the Boston Celtics. He kind of went into a slight slump a little bit after that, and then of course he was dealing with some calf issues. Since he's been back, though, he has been on a whole nother level, back to that original, like, high-performing player that we saw in his first few games. In his last 5 games, since his minutes restriction has been lifted, he's averaging 22 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists, shooting 48% from the field and 43% from 3. Rookies are not supposed to be this efficient with the ball. And again, when he got drafted, I knew he was going to be able to get to the basket. He's a strong driver, a great athlete. I knew that he was going to be good, just not this good, especially with his three-point shooting, especially with his passing. He's had a few really impressive passing games and passing moments where I wasn't expecting that from him. And I've mentioned it before, but I really love the pairing of Tyrese Maxey and VJ Edgecombe together. I've given them a Thunder and Lightning nickname as a backcourt duo, like they're a running back duo, but I just really like the quickness and the craftiness that Tyrese Maxey moves with, and then sometimes the brute force and just strength and athleticism that VJ Edgecombe works with. I think that they're great playing off of each other. I really am excited to see these two together for years to come as they grow their games together. Quentin Grimes is another really important piece to the Sixers team. So far in the year, he's averaging 15, 4, and 3 while shooting the ball pretty well. He leads the league in bench points per game out of players that have came off the bench in majority of their games. Obviously, I'm not going to count those few Victor Wembanyama off the bench games, or like Kobe White, I think, played a game off the bench and scored a bunch. Not including those guys, Quentin Grimes is the most prolific bench scorer. And real quick, just to say, the Sixers being able to get Quentin Grimes for Caleb Martin, that is one of the biggest fleeces we've seen, not including Luka Doncic. Funny enough, it is Nico Harrison that facilitated both of those deals. That's neither here nor there, though. Bringing in a guy like Quentin Grimes is, again, just incredible value for the Sixers, including his age and his ability. Obviously, they weren't able to get him under contract for a long-term deal. He ended up signing the qualifying offer this offseason, so he will be an unrestricted free agent at the end of the year. With the performances that he's been doing, though, I'm pretty confident the Sixers are going to try hard to bring him back. He's just a great play finisher, whether it's him just spotting up for a catch-and-shoot 3, driving those closeouts and being able to finish at the rim, being just a good off-the-ball presence with his movement, whether it's just relocating for another 3 and just shifting the defense, or seeing someone with their eye on the ball and cutting to the basket. Quentin Grimes is just one of the more perfectly built off-ball players, and again, that fits perfectly for what this Sixers team is looking for. And he's also able to create a little bit for himself. I'm not saying he's going to be out there like VJ Edgecombe or Tyrese Maxey, but when the ball's in his hands, he's got a few seconds to operate. He can shake something up a little bit. And while I definitely think those 3 guys are the core of this young group, there still is plenty of other young talented players that are having great years so far for the Sixers, including Adem Bona. He's more of a traditional center, a low maintenance type of guy. I've mentioned it before that I love these type of centers. They're going to run the floor hard, they're going to screen, they're going to block shots, they're going to rebound. Those are all things that Adem Bona is really good at. His athleticism that he brings is really important at that center position too. And specifically, I know I mentioned his rebounding, but his offensive rebounding is one of the better offensive rebounders in the league. Jared McCain is having a pretty rough start to his sophomore year, but we all saw the flashes that he gave us in his rookie season before he got hurt. Just not only as a spot-up shooter, but as a ball handler and a little bit of a shot creator as well. I really liked what I saw from him, and I do think that he is able to get more production than what we're seeing right now. I do think he's in a little bit of a slump, but he will be able to correct that and get back to the production we once saw. Then even to a lesser extent, you have guys like Trenton Watford or Justin Edwards who, show flashes. Trenton Watford had a triple-double earlier this year. I know he's dealing with a little bit of injury right now, but just as a more traditional 4-man, sometimes they ran him at a small ball 5 as well, with some dribble handoffs, rebounding the ball, just getting to the rim. He's not a shooter, but he can shoot. Similar things can be kind of said about Justin Edwards. He had a really impressive rookie season last year. He's not a shooter, but he can shoot. Again, kind of like Trenton Watford, he's more likely to be a threat driving to the basket. But still, both these guys can score, can give some important minutes to the Sixers team. Even down to their 2-way contracts, the Sixers are adding young talent. They have Jabari Walker and Dominic Barlow. Both of these guys are getting a lot more burn than your normal, typical 2-way type of players. but they are actually performing, so I guess it makes sense why the Sixers are trusting them. Specifically, Dominic Barlow, I really think he's going to get converted into a regular contract sooner rather than later. Both of these guys are similar archetypes in the idea that they are big body forwards, they play with a lot of energy, they crash the glass. The only reason I'm saying Dominic Barlow is a little bit higher on these power rankings, if you will, than a guy like Jabari Walker is. I do think that Dominic Barlow is just a better finisher around the rim, and when you're really operating in that area a lot, obviously you want that efficiency. Then you add in some of the vets like Andre Drummond, who's having a really great season, just rebounding the ball. He just hit 3 threes against my New York Knicks a few nights ago. Wasn't enjoyable watching that, but all around as a season, it's been enjoyable watching Andre Drummond. Kelly Oubre is dealing with some injury, but when he was healthy, he was just a great contributor to the Sixers team as a scorer, a driver, a defender, all around just impacting. And then when it comes down to it, Joel Embiid, Paul George, when they are healthy and they are playing, they're kind of just the cherry on top. Both of them have been playing okay when they're healthy, but again, their biggest issue has been actually playing and getting on the court. Throughout this video, I named 9 players under the age of 25 that are real rotational players for the Sixers team and really contributing to wins. I think that it's time where they don't need to wait on Joel Embiid and Paul George and, kind of, again, really accommodating fully for them. I think that they need to realize they have real talent on this roster outside of those guys, and they need to move accordingly and move forward with this talent regardless of the health. All I'm saying is they have a real core with these players. They have real upside and real hope for the future, which is something we haven't been able to say for a while about the Sixers. So they need to move forward with these guys, empower these guys a lot. Then when Joel Embiid and Paul George are healthy and available, you have their talent, you have their additions to the roster. You just don't need to prioritize them anymore. What do you guys think, though? Let me know in the comments below. Do you think the Sixers still need to prioritize Joel Embiid and he is still their best player? Or do you think they can move forward just building around Tyrese Maxey and this young core? Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you leave it a like, subscribe so you don't miss the next one. In the description is links to all my social medias, so make sure you follow me on all those to keep up to date with me. Catch y'all.